Hello again, thanks for joining. Today we've got two Jouef models to have a look at, and they're from different eras, so we're going to see what's changed over the years with Jouef models. This is the older of the Jouef models. This one is a ferry van in this cardboard box here. It is number 6253 and it hails from a time when Jouef was still an independent company and it was made in France. And this other one we've got here is a much more modern one. It's from the Jouef Junior line. Now I say it's Jouef, but if you look on the back you can see the Hornby International branding here, because this is being made after Hornby took over the Jouef brand and they moved all the manufacturing to China. So this is a Chinese made model. This one is number HJ6053. And you can see it's a silver Interfrigo wagon. Now the Junior line, I'm not too familiar with it, but I think it's basically one of the older mouldings, probably just repackaged with some modern finesse to it. And also this is actually a new model. I know that's surprising on this channel, it's normally second-hand stuff, and when I say new, I actually think it's new old stock in that it's never been opened before, so it is a brand new model, but maybe not just in the current range. I'd have to look that up and find out, but anyway, we're going to compare this to the other one. And this other one is a second-hand model, obviously. It's getting on a bit now in terms of age, but I still think it's got a lot to offer the modeler, and one of those things is definitely going to be the price. So let's open this one up first and we'll check it out and then we'll compare it to the other one. Well, what we've got here is a very simple four-wheeled van. It's a ferry van type of affair going on here, and it's an interesting moulding because it's got see-through parts and it's also got a lot of little vents, and they're being modelled either open or closed, which is quite an interesting feature. And also very interesting is this colour scheme. It does have, unsurprisingly, SNCF markings on it, and they're in white. You can barely see it against this colour, but it is certainly a very interesting colour scheme. And it also has this green line running around the middle of the wagon. And here at the end, it doesn't really go over the ridge here of these bracing pieces, and it doesn't really seem to be masked off very well. But it's quite interesting that it's got that there. But what is really good is the printing on it. It's very clear, even though it's very faint. And things like this black area here, which I think is used as a chalkboard for destinations or something like that, that's very crisp as well. There's no printing on the chassis, but we do have some writing on it, just moulded into the main piece of plastic of the chassis. This is a one-piece moulding of the body shell, and that includes the roof, which has been painted in white, and that's been done pretty well. It's kind of matte finish. It does have a couple of speckles on this because this is an old model, so it looks as though it's maybe being stored somewhere where it was maybe a little bit wet or something. But the condition is not too bad for its age, I guess, with this model. Now the chassis is pretty basic, and I think it's probably shared with many other little wagons that Jouef had made. The wheels are very shiny though, it's quite surprising, and they revolve really good too. We've got couplings here, no NEM pockets at the moment, but they do have a little bit of cantilever on them and a little bit of springiness. Quite a clever little arrangement that with the plastic moulding. And underneath there you can see Jouef made in France. So I think there's an acceptable level of detail in this for a budget model, and it is pretty light, and we're going to weigh these in a bit, but let's have a look at the other one now. So this is much more modern packaging, and we've got a window on it. You can see it catching the light there from my little stage. So let's get this one open as well. It's never been out of the packet before, so it's going to be interesting to check this out. Well, it's a good job you don't have smell-o-vision on YouTube, because this actually really stinks. It's a very chemical-like smell, and I don't know whether it's been just kicking around for a while or it's been like that from the factory, but it's really quite stinky. But thankfully the wagon doesn't smell, so that's good. What we've got here is a fairly basic but well presented Interfrigo wagon in this silver colour, and it's very typical of an Interfrigo wagon. I think everybody's probably got one of these. It's got the typical ladder on each end of the wagon. It's an extra piece in black plastic which has been added in. It's got some checkerboard effect on the top of the platform there, and the railings are okay. It's a bit pliable, but not too bad. But of course these things always break and fall off. We've now got a two-piece moulding for the main body shell because the roof is a different piece, and it's finished in this more dull kind of grey silver colour, and the rest of it is actually a brighter, more reflective silver. The printing on it is absolutely superb, very crisp, and even the black area is masked off really great. And you can very easily read the writing on this one. It also has a little step coming down, which isn't as crude as the previous one. And we have some moulding detail up here, like the hatch for the ice to go in, and the ribs on the top of the roof. There's no moulding mark either, so it's actually been done pretty good. Underneath it's another fairly basic chassis. We've got some cross bracing and planking detail. We've actually got grain underneath the wheels, but not in the centre area, which is a bit strange. And now we have cantilever couplings, and they have NEM pockets as well, and it has a bit of movement back and forward too. So they've obviously gone to town with the couplings, which is pretty good. The wheels are now blackened and they revolve very well too. No brakes in line with the wheels though, however the spring detail and the axle box is very well defined on these. Also like how it's got these little steps coming down, and there's nothing really on the buffer beam apart from some nice buffers, but there's no other detail there. But again, it's in the junior line, so I'm guessing this is going to be fairly cheap, and it seems to me to have a pretty good acceptable level of detail on it. Anyway, let's put both of these on the scales and we'll see how much they weigh. So the older of the two wagons weighs 29 grams, and the newer one is substantially heavier at 46 grams. So two interesting wagons from Jouef, although they have been made in completely different countries and at different time periods as well, but both of them have some interesting parts to them that make them quite appealing. The older of the two has got this really nice interesting moulding. It's a great colour scheme as well. I like the roof and the green stripe going around it, even if it isn't actually applied that well. It seems to roll really well too, and I think this is acceptable if you got this pretty cheap, and I think that's one of the benefits of these older Jouef models is that you can pick them up pretty cheaply as well. This was under £5 for this and it looks like it's brand new, so I think that was a good purchase. The silver one is also a very good moulding and well executed, but it has been made to a budget. I prefer the wheels on this one and they seem to revolve a little bit better, but the fact that the brakes are just miles away from the wheels is just, I don't know, maybe a little bit sloppy, but it does have much better couplings and of course NEM pockets. And the overall finish and the printing on it is really good. It is in the junior line, so it's meant to be pretty cheap. So this one did actually cost me £15, but that's because it's brand new. I think on the second-hand market you're probably looking around about £10 maybe, but it is a fairly common and basic wagon. So overall then, which one is the better of the two? Well, it's hard to tell really, because they're both made to a budget and they're both very different. The French one on the right there, that was made some time ago, but I think it still looks pretty good. And yes, okay, it was made to a budget back then, and I think it still holds up true now that it's a fairly decent model and it'd be quite acceptable. The silver one by comparison is again made to a budget, but I think it seems a little bit cheap. I'm not one of those people that bashes stuff from China. I actually think their wagons and coaches are usually pretty good, and I understand that this has been made to a budget, but I think modern day wagons are just made to a bit better finesse than this one, although I can't really fault it. So I'm not sure which is the winner out of these two. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts, and if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps this channel. Now I'll put both of these on the turntable so you can see all the way around, and that icon that's going to appear in a moment is another video I've done. Just click on that and I'll see you there. Thanks for watching this one though, I appreciate your time with me, and I'll see you on the next one.
So model train, model worlds, choo choo, model trains, tiny worlds, choo choo, model trains, tiny trains, model worlds, choo choo,